here took the abuse as a child and didn't stand up for yourself, it's not your fault. You are not supposed to defend yourself if you are a child. You are exempt from self-defense. And if something happened to you when you were a child, there comes a time where you have to bury that relationship. After a certain age, it is toxic. Even if you had the most evil parent in the world, after a point, it is diminishing returns and oftentimes toxic. So we don't want to keep encouraging ourselves to blame our parents. Number one thing you have to do if you want to be compassionate to yourself is that you have to reparent yourself like your parents never did. You have to love yourself so much that you have to activate the inner mother, the inner father, and begin reparenting yourself with the new narrative.
This
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Gag-Order. I'm Jinx, and this is my crew. As you can see, we talking about parenting and trauma and childhood, and there's a lot to be spoken on about this. But before we get into that, I would like my ladies to introduce themselves. If you could please start, Miss Alicia.
My name is Alicia. Hello. Welcome.
Let everybody know your socials where they can find you.
I'm on all platforms under Alicia Ali.
All right. Go ahead. Who's next?
Hey y'all, I'm Kia. My name is Kia Parker Lewis on Facebook. What's up?
MJ, go ahead.
And my name's May Jean, and I am May Jean Duma on Facebook, and on Instagram I am Maiden. Maie, like my name.
And you can find me on Instagram at Mama Bear underscore no care. And again, tonight's topic is going to be kids. 3 out of 4 of us are parents. Um, 4 out of 4 of us have parented children and others. And unfortunately, there's a lot that goes unsaid in regards to childhood trauma. And I think we can all touch on that a little bit. And I think there's many different aspects that we can tackle this one topic from. Me, myself, personally, I was thinking along the lines of how often we see children being traumatized and manipulated because of their unhealthy parents or their parents' unhealthy relationships. And it really goes so deep because I know that as a child, I never really understood like my parents' dynamic. They had separated when I was a baby, and it left a lot of questions in my head. It left a lot of unsettling feelings in my spirit, just growing. And these kids deserve so much better than what a lot of them have faced, ourselves included. Um, but I know, I mean, from the moment From the moment a child is conceived, in my eyes, it becomes both of those parents' responsibility to do everything they can to make sure that that child has everything they could possibly have on all aspects to be able to become a successful adult. And I think a lot of times as parents, we get caught up in the moment and we don't pay attention to the little things and how it can have long-term effects on the kids. Any of you ladies have Anything that really pops in your mind when I speak on things like this?
I think that when it comes to childhood trauma, a lot of people don't understand that your words is a form of abuse, which is also a form of trauma. So I feel like a lot of people take their anger out on their kids when certain situations happen. Like, like you said, a lot of people have parents who are in a toxic relationship, where I'm just going to say, like, for example, the man can talk to the woman any kind of way and say just about anything. But if she was to open up her mouth and talk to him the same way, it gives a child the perception that it's okay for a man to talk to a woman any kind of way. So it's a path that's followed, in
I
my
agree.
opinion.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. I think that, the parenting dynamic and structure has changed tremendously over the years. And that has a lot to do. That's a symptom of it right there, what you're speaking on.
And then, like, the parents always want to be the kids' friends now. Like, baby, I'm not your friend. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to keep you safe, provide, and do what
That's
needs to
right.
be done. Being your friend is the last on the list. I remember when the old people used to say, I'm not your little friend. Now
Yep.
I'm old enough, so now I always say, you not my little friend. Why are you trying to add me on social media?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I
I'm
got.
that one about.
Yeah. Majin, you got anything to add to this?
Well, I was going to say, from a clinical standpoint, if a child is exposed to too much abuse, they can actually get a form of schizophrenia that's environmentally induced. So it does cause brain damage. I mean, it's a proven fact. um, it also causes issues as far as creating healthy relationships in the future. If you can't trust your parents, who can you trust? It sets up issues that we talk about, I believe, on the other show, where you feel like you can't set boundaries for yourself because you're never allowed to say no. Or when you do say no, you're chastised in a way that you feel so rejected that you learn how to not say no. Um, it does a lot of things. It does a lot of things to kids. It makes it very hard for them to make good decisions. I could go on and on.
Absolutely. I think each person in their life can break down a lot of their social and emotional, we'll call them dysfunctions. I think we could really pinpoint that back to, we trace it back to something from childhood. Hey,
Well, they
Alicia,
say everything comes from childhood, right?
yeah,
They say our whole personality comes from our childhood. So how we interact with
absolutely.
people, all
I
those
mean, the
different things.
first the
So
first 5 to 8 years is they call it like the formative years, and essentially is because that's when all of our essential functions are forming that are going to carry us through life, and those years are critical. Absolutely. Elisha, anything you want to add in this aspect or another aspect of it that you'd like to touch on?
I think a lot of parents, like you guys said, try to be their friends and whatnot. But I think the key factor sometimes well, this generation now, when the kids have kids, I say kids having kids because they tend to give the kids what they don't have, and it becomes they become more friends than being a parent because they don't even know how to do that because they wasn't being parent in the first place. So a lot of us are trying to find ourselves at the same time of having kids. I think that's how it goes right now.
I think you're right. But at the same time, I mean, think about it. Until you have children, sometimes you don't even think about that aspect of truly like finding and understanding yourself, because a lot of people don't even understand true love until they have a child of their own. And that's once you experience that true love, you start to reflect on some of the parts of yourself that you may or may not truly love or accept.
That's I would say some people. because there's some people that really does, you know, fall in love with their kids and know that they have to do 100% what they have to do, and then some of them just don't. They just want to give the kids what they never had, and they don't teach them the values of certain things. So I think that's another problem they have now.
I agree with that as well. I mean, I
Well,
think. Go ahead.
I was going to say, we're in a society where parents really can't. Like, you're working. So then that's what happens, right? You're dating, you're working, you're doing all these other things. So the dynamic that we're talking about gets really lost because you're, first of all, you're not making really good decisions 90% of the time. So how can you guide someone else? And then, second of all, like, your situation is not stable. So if you're not stable, how, it's very hard to provide stability, and then on the last part of that, like we've said, like, you have all this childhood trauma. So parenting is more than just telling a kid no. That really has very little to do with it. It's the way you teach them how to make decisions. It's the way you teach them how to interact in society. It's the way you teach them how to interact with their peers, how to conduct themselves. Those are the things that you should be teaching a child. And I feel like it's a fine line because as much as people indulge them in everything else, again, it's not a no game. So just because I think on the other show we were doing, Jace, a long time ago, I kind of got into it with the girl about that because just because you're an authoritative parent doesn't make you a good parent. You know what I mean? And you could be as authoritative as you want. If your child doesn't feel loved and supported and can't make good decisions, then you're still failing as a parent. I don't care if they got straight A's in school and work 5 jobs and whatever, just like we talk about in the PMS thing, you have to treat your body as a whole. So if you're not treating your child as a whole and focusing on them spiritually, emotionally, mentally and physically, then you're still falling short. And the problem is, if you don't have those tools or those abilities to navigate your own life, then how can you teach someone else to? And that's where it gets tricky. How can you teach a girl to have good relationships if you've never had a good relationship? How can you teach a boy to be a man if you've never had a real man in your home?
Absolutely.
And then that's where these things fall short.
I agree. And then, I mean, when, like you were just saying, like, how can you teach? Like, at the same time, I feel like only only a father can teach a young lady to grow up to be a respectable young lady, and only a mother can teach a young man to grow up to be a respectable man. And I think a lot of people think it's flip flopped, but it it's I don't truly believe that it is, because like a woman, you could show your daughter how to be a woman to an extent, but that man figure is going to make her more of a woman than any mother figure could. And I feel the same goes the opposite for little boys. Little boys learn to respect women by loving their mother. Yes, it's good to see that example of their father loving their mother. Their father's going to teach them how to be a man, but that mother son relationship is going to teach them how to truly embrace that female woman dynamic and how to really love and respect a woman.
Because that's the implication, right? But you can't have the implication unless you are know how to do the job. So
True.
yes, and I agree with you to a point, but you still need the man to teach him how to be the man to treat you as a
Oh,
woman. And
I
then the
don't disagree
implication
with that.
is the relationship with you. So yes and no, you still have to have. And as far as the girl goes, the mother, the girl will go off how the mother is to a point, and then also how the father reacts to her, right? So if you have one of those weird creepy dads who's grabbing your ass when you walk by, then you're going to think it's different for men to treat you differently than someone whose father's not going to let them leave the house with shorts that are too far above their knee. Like it just depends on how you present yourself to the world, that you learn is acceptable. So I don't know.
True,
I
true.
think that
Elisa, you
I
have
think
something
that
to add?
sometimes that can become a weird dynamic. Huh?
No, I thought
No,
Elisha had something to say.
no, I'm just agreeing.
Oh, okay. Kia, you got any thoughts on this aspect of it?
Honestly, I don't know because I don't know. Like everybody is different. Like you know what I mean. Everybody relationships is different. Everybody's history is just different, and like you never know how somebody else was raised. So
Mm,
like one person might have been in a household with both parents where sometimes it's respecting there, sometimes it's not. And then you can have another family that's totally different. Like I never see my parents, and every time I do see them, they're arguing constantly. I try to escape, like you know what I mean. So it's like I get what y'all saying, but like it really just depends on how they were raised and like what they believe and how they feel as though they should be raising their kids. Now whether they doing it in the right manner or if that's how you feel as though they're supposed to be teaching them, then like everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but in order for them to I guess make their kids comfortable, they're gonna do what they need to do to try to get them to trust them as much so that they can be open in a sense.
I mean, I get that. I do. But I mean, I feel like every family dynamic is different, no matter what. No matter where you go, no matter what part of the world you're in, no matter what the actual mother, father, child dynamic is, there's there's always that, like I say, mama's boys, daddy's girls. It's a given that, like, even a young girl, if she doesn't have her father in her life, she always craves that. A young man, if he doesn't have a mother in his life, it always craves that, and it brings an unhealthy, I don't want to say attachment, but it's like it it brings, I don't know, the
It's
I don't know
abandonment.
Would it be like resentment?
Validation. You want validation from your dad. You find guys that if you don't have that father figure in your life, as far as a woman, to me, I think you get the guys that you just seeking for attention any way possible because you're not getting it from your father.
it's something that it's almost like a empty space. It's something that you looking to fill. It's a void that you feel you need to fill instead of finding a way to fill that within yourself in other ways, or instead of that other parent finding other ways. That's no matter what, that void is always going to be there, and it's always going to be something that they crave. That's just my experience and what I've seen throughout my years of life, and even like seeing other people in their relationships and watching other people's kids grow up and seeing how their relationships form with other people and how they go about life and how they pick partners. Same thing, like validation and filling voids. It gets tricky. And then that brings us into unhealthy relationships. It's just a cycle. Which brings me to cycles. PMS check-ins. So we
Um, okay, my physical, I'm kind of exhausted. My mental, drained, and my spiritual, I'm just okay.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, in case you may have not been aware, PMS check ins clearly is not about our cycle. It's about checking in with our physical, mental, and spiritual so that we don't get too emotional or react in emotional ways or act off of our emotions. So, Miss Elisha, that was your last night's check in. How you feeling today, girl?
And this is like so funny to me Because I listened to that and I'm laughing because I'm like, wow, I'm almost the same way, actually, to be honest with you. I'm actually not exhausted today. I'm tired. Um, mentally, mentally, I don't have a word for it because I'm just, yeah,
Drained, beyond drained, you on
I'm
empty?
still beyond, I'm beyond drain right now. I'm confused.
Mm,
And then spiritually, I think I'm all over the place. That's not even one word, but I'm all over the place.
okay. So in 24 hours, what's changed in a day?
In a day, what I've noticed since I've did that and since you said it now, I had to call my therapist because of how I was feeling today. So really, it was a conversation I had, and the conversation just made me feel some type of way because of yesterday of me saying something to make it, you know, uncomfortable. So like, I kind of felt kind of bad, hurt, bad because I said it, and then it trickled down for the next day. So then when I had it, I was like, oh my god, I don't know I don't know how to handle my emotion because I was just fed up. I was just fed up at that point. So yeah, so that one conversation changed it.
For the better or the worse?
After my therapy session, I'm going to say I got better. So with her helping me understand my emotions and understanding how to deal with the conversation, it made me understand that my mental is worth more than anything. And in order for me, I have to process what I do, what I say, in order for me to know, hey, if you apologized, if you did what you had to do, then you should be okay with your mental state. So that's what she told me, how to really handle that. So that's what I did. So I have to worry about my mental because if I don't want to go back into the depression mode that I was in at the beginning of the year and miss like 3 months of work because of that. So I'm trying not to get right back there at all. So
So essentially, checking your mental and going through that list of, I'm clearing that space. I did what I had to do. I did my best in it. That helped to, bring that emotional level down a little bit.
yeah, because I had to realize that if the things and we had a meeting last night and I think we was asked what is our strength and our weaknesses, and I
Hmm.
brought that up and she told me about it. So I learned that after that conversation to be more of letting go of it and just handling what I need to handle for me, and not, in other words, all the negative energy was coming to me. So I was getting too overwhelmed because I was like, I don't want this negative energy because I don't want to break my spirits down because I'm already here
Yeah.
and now I'm down here. So that's what it is.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'm glad you're doing better today than you was yesterday.
Thanks, hon.
Physical. Tired. Um, my mental is relaxed, and then my spiritual, I would say, at peace.
Oh, do you remember what your spiritual was? I ain't hear it.
At peace.
Oh, at peace. That's what it was. All right. All right. How
Mhm.
about today? How you feeling today?
Um, so physically, I'm just here. Like I'm really just go with the flow. I'm here. Mentally, I'm gonna say I don't even know. I literally just had the right word and everything, and it just boom here, go with the flow. um, my mental is, I guess, going through like a clarity person. I don't know. I don't. It's like going through some clarity reasoning. So I don't know. I don't know if you want to call it a logistical reasoning or I don't have the right word for my mental right now.
All right. All
Um,
right. How about your
I mean,
spiritual?
my spiritual is really at ease.
That's
Like
good.
I feel really at ease right now, so I like it.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. So over the last 24.
Physically today, I am tired.
My fault, my fault, my fault.
All right. So back to Kia. Go ahead. Today in that 24 hours, what's changed? What have you noticed
Um,
about your emotional state and how just being aware has changed things?
that like okay, so like most of the time I just respond. I respond, I react. I have no cuts, I have no chill, no just sit down and think about it first. Like but like after yesterday when I went to my friend's mom's memorial and they released the doves and like I don't know what it is, like the ceremony itself, it took me somewhere different. And like when I woke up this morning, I felt like really revived and like refreshed. And it might sound weird, but like I feel really, really like a weight was lifted off my shoulders, like that was my burden and it wasn't. So I don't know if I think it's because I randomly just started helping the people with the doves and stuff. Like we had to walk down a whole bunch of steps to put the table together, and like it just I don't know, it did something to me. I don't know.
I'm so glad you had that experience. First and foremost, I'm so glad because that's a beautiful thing. It's symbolic in so many ways. And going through whatever you was going through with your mental the previous day and whatever you may have been going through previous to that, I think that's a type of release. And I think that angels have the ability to carry your burdens away at any given time if you in the right place at the right time doing the right thing. And let's get into me.
Physically today, I am tired. Mentally, I am tired. And spiritually, I'm okay.
All right, Regine, how you doing today?
Not too bad. I'm still a little tired, but I've been working a lot lately, so and mentally I'm better. But still a little tired. Spiritually I'm good.
Okay. What's changed for you in the last 24?
I'm a little less tired about it.
That seemed to be the common theme. Everybody tired or exhausted. That's a shame. Oh, that's a shame. We either all stressing or working too
It's
hard.
this weather, the humidity. I am outside, I work outside, so the humidity just gets you. You know what I mean? And especially I go in and out of people's houses, so it's so hot sometimes. It just wipes you out after a while.
I hear that. Definitely. This weather been crazy. So for you, right. So random question of the week is gonna be actually news and media. News and media. Our question is, oh, y'all ready? I don't think you ready. So ladies, in your opinion, do you believe that there was actually another attempt on a US president or presidential candidate? Like that or do you believe that the media controls the fucking world?
I believe the media did it. It's a scheme. It's a Ponzi. I don't believe nothing about it was real. Like it screamed. Listen, if I seen a video of Trump and he was whispering to somebody or whatever, and I was trying to make out what his words were saying so bad, but I don't know if it was because I was tired or because I just couldn't see all the way. I left my glasses and I was just really trying to focus in, but I couldn't figure out what he was saying. But let me tell you, that was the fakest thing I've ever seen. I've seen better stuff on TV
I
because realistically speaking, like if somebody was really going to attempt to shoot at the president, it would not have taken the security people that long to jump in cover to protect him for real. If a balloon went off and somebody was to step on a balloon or to sit down on a balloon, they would have jumped to cover that man. Okay, ain't no blood right here. No, that's fake.
See, I
It's
personally ain't even see the video footage yet. I heard, I seen pictures and clips, but I never seen the actual video footage. Now I seen in an article that somebody actually died who was standing behind the president.
The
So
so-called chief executive man, the man he's supposed to be a retired executive chief police officer, and I feel like he was paid too. They all was in on it.
it's very
They killed
possible.
the kid who did
Anything
it
is
too.
possible.
I don't think that man died, honestly.
The
I
Secret
don't.
Service shot
Fault
the
me.
shooter. I,
What was that, Eugene?
regardless, I think it's disgusting that people. I said, not the Secret Service shot the shooter, but anyway, my whole thing is, I think regardless, if you're celebrating someone getting shot, especially a political figure that you have no personal affiliation to in any way, you're sick. So I don't think it really matters if it's fake or real or anything else. I think what bothers me is the reaction of people, and that people are actually applauding this, because when um, other leaders in history got shot, like, it's not a good thing. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you agree with the person or not. Someone getting killed for something other than a personal reason, no one should be celebrating it. Here's the thing: if you kill my kid and then the four of us go and lynch mob you, yeah, great, we're celebrating. Okay? What has that man ever personally done to you? Everything you're saying is rhetoric. You really have no idea. You're being spoon fed media. Everybody talks about Trump, but yet no one ever says any of the things he did do, like securing our media from China and so on and so forth. Any president we've had is good and bad. They all worry about their financial, whatever you want to call it, their financial partners, so on and so forth. So for you to sit there and take sides like they're your friends is just as stupid as people like defending Rihanna. Like, okay, if she's seen you on the street, spit on you, what are you defending her for? Like, same type of idea. You're actively hating someone that has no real relevance in your life, because truly you sound stupid, because real politics go state by state more than federal. So who's your governor in your town? Who are your senators? If you don't know that, you shouldn't be speaking on anything political. I'm sorry. Like, the media's got us so brainwashed as far as like the big picture, when it's really not really the big picture. I got into a fight with somebody about the difference between federal, and I said to them, okay, well, I'll tell you what, get arrested, and then let me know if you want them charges to be state charges or federal charges. Let me know how it works out afterward for you,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Because it's a huge difference, and
absolutely.
people don't know the difference, and that's the problem.
Elisha, your
So
take
I don't
on
think it matters regardless.
I mean, I agree with all of you guys. I think Kia said everything for me because I think it's just the media. The media is ran a certain way for everybody to be programmed, and I really think that's all it is. And I think it's becoming so bad. It's just how the social media is. Also, it's a fake. Everything's fake. Everybody's fake. Everybody's not trying to be real anymore. It's just too much. I just don't even believe what happened.
It's crazy, but I think that like sometimes the real news that they do broadcast, it's scripted.
oh,
Like
absolutely.
I understand that sometimes it helps them not get stuck or whatever on whatever they talking about, and I can understand that you need a few reminders and stuff like that, but I feel like everything is entirely scripted. Like they don't have the option to really speak their personal opinion sometimes. Like they have to monitor and watch what they say. Why? Because the more drama that there is, the more viewers that you get, the more people that you get to tune in, the more money that's produced and that's made off of it. So I feel like it all comes back to money.
Oh,
It's like
absolutely.
a Cyber
It's
show.
always been.
Well, they all are politically affiliated. They
Absolutely.
all have a political affiliation. So if you're watching Fox, it's a Republican affiliation. If you're watching CNN, they're Democrat. So if you're watching any of those biased news stations, of course you're getting scripted news, because what they're doing is they're taking the situation and they're spinning it to their own avail. It's, you know, it's essentially like talking to your friend and they're telling you a story. They're going to tell it from their perspective, right? And they're going to tell you what their viewpoints are and what they think. So if you really want unbiased news, you have to find media sources that are either middle of the road or that are, you know, publicly sourced or whatever, instead of privately, not publicly, because then what happens is, like I said, you're just getting whatever their agenda is. And that's all of them. I don't care if it's Republican, Democratic, you
I
know.
think,
That's why the
regardless,
Constitution warned us against a two-party system.
I think regardless of the
Huh?
actual, I think regardless of, like, I don't want to get into the actual political aspect of any of it. I was mainly just, I was trying to have us, you know, break up the show a little bit with some funny shit going on in the media. But I want to touch back on our original topic with our kids and our traumas, and a few things that you just said throughout our topic, or other discussion rather, just about, you know, spewing hate and taking sides. And let's go back to these kids, because I recently, it's been brought to my attention that, you know, there's a couple of people that each of us may know that are going through issues with baby mama drama or baby daddy drama, and the way that it affects these kids. Like, you see, there's some women who try and get pregnant, trap a man. There's some men that try to get a woman pregnant and trap them up. There's people that use their children as pawns, and it that is even more traumatic than just the basic general childhood trauma anyone may go through. And I personally have been through situations where my child was literally used like a trophy or a pawn, and that was their only purpose in their father's life. And it became a real problem. It affects the child so negatively. And sometimes parents have such hate and animosity towards each other that they don't see that their children are inadvertently absorbing it, inadvertently taking it on as their own personal shortcomings, or whatever the case may be. And it's so sad to see children used as pawns. Like, children are, they they're presents, they're gifts from God, and they're here for us to guide them, and yet they end up being used, essentially.
Well,
They
you
didn't
know,
ask to be.
it's protection.
Elisha, what was that?
I was
Go ahead, Meijing.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that now that is classic projection, because what happens is the the mother or the father projects their feelings from of the parent onto the child. So you know that's when they say things. Oh, you're just like your dad, or you know you're a whore like your mom, or you know whatever the parent is gonna say that's negative, because they're projecting onto the child whatever it is they can't resolve in themselves with the parent. You know, and that stinks for the child, because then that gives them yet another basis of to compare themselves to something negative, right? And then they because we see and view ourselves through our parents, which is why adopted children have a lot of trouble sometimes, because we're always looking for that. So we're already looking to relate to them. So when they give us negative things to relate to, it becomes part of our negative self-image. And then it makes it way easier for us to talk bad to ourselves, right? Because you're like, well, here I am. I'm just like my mom. You know, I'm crazy just like my mom. I'm a whore just like my mom. I'm, you know, whatever the person's telling you, you know, and plus you're not being loved by that person. So you're feeling rejected, you know, it's sad for the child. And then they spend their whole life looking for other people that mimic that parent's behavior to try to appease. But the problem is, those type of people are never going to be happy with you, right? Because again, they are the other part of the negative equation, and that's what they call a trauma bond. So if you keep trauma bonding to people, you never get past that emotional dam, and then you can't ever really have intimacy because there's no trust or security there, right?
I think it also
Again, it's sad.
it brings a certain type of trauma to the self-worth, to the child's sense of self and well-being, and their sense of value for themselves. They blame themselves. They often believe that it's somehow they're lacking. Not even so much that, oh, one parent is berating them and trying to treat them less than like they would another parent, or whatever the case may, like the other parent rather, whatever the case may be. They take it on and internalize everything because essentially they look to their parents for everything. So whether or not something is their fault, they'll still take it on as their own because they're unable to even process the fact that, oh, mom and dad are just unhealthy on their own. Mom and dad are clearly unhealthy together. Like, so that's just automatically makes me dysfunctional. And, if dad's calling mom this, that, and the third, then, oh, well, I'm part of that. So that's part of me. So it all carries over. It's that sick cycle once again. Like, Elisha, I know we had spoke about a topic similar not too long ago, in regards to bitter baby mama shit.
I think everything you're saying is true, and I would say some. You have to say some because some people really, we all, a lot of people is different, and a lot of people do things differently. And come into that aspect with the kids, as a parent, I am going through one of those process. I don't take my anger or bitterness or whatever I have towards my ex husband out on my child. I try to mentally help my child because I know how I feel, because how I grew up with my family, with my mother and father. So I don't want that to be a cycle to go down with my kids and my grandchildren. So I'm trying to show them by example of how you handle it. I am a single mom. So the father is the one that abandoned my son for the last 3 years. So he has not spoken to his son. So it did traumatize my son the first year. Um, I have dealt with it. We have mentally came up to conclusions of how to handle it. So when my son was going through these things of my father don't love me, I don't know what I did. I basically confided in him to let him know I feel how you feel and I have a father. And as the difference is when you're not close to someone, as in what you say, in or mother, it tends to trickle down because of the past. So what I learned is in my life since I've been trauma and everything is to try my best not to show that to my child and my children. And I try to raise them differently from that aspect. I'm sorry.
She won't. She won't. But no,
She
it's
with
it's it's
somebody else.
it's really hard. It's hard to break that cycle. It really is. But the fact that you was like open and honest with your child, I think is gonna make all the difference in the world. Kia, how about you? You got any experience with this bitter baby mama hating baby daddy bullshit?
Of course I do. Of course I do. I'm the baby, so I listen. I wish I would have listened to the old people when I was in my teenage years when they come down to a baby. Lord
Mm,
no. My ex, he just I don't know. He just wanted to have kids everywhere. Every state he wanted to have kids. Everywhere. Don't know. One day one baby mom reaches out to all of the rest of the baby mothers and they all come together for a kid birthday party. And when
mm,
he walked the door. He couldn't tell who half of them kids was, didn't realize that half of them belonged to him. And then that's when it became a pawn thing. Like, oh, you're not seeing this child, or you can't even tell me his birthday, or like, you know what I mean? And it was crazy because it took one baby mother to be an adult to get all of the kids together. So, like, mad
Cheers to
respect to
her.
her.
Cheers to her.
Like, mad respect to her. Like, even called me, included me in it and everything because I was dating him at the time. And I respect. Like, I have no issues as long as y'all being parents to your kids. He do what he gotta do. You do what you gotta do. I don't care. I'm the one that help out. I don't care. Cause regardless of if he doing what he gotta do, you can't be with me and you not taking care of yours. Cause at the end of the day, that means I'm gonna look like the one that ain't shit, which turns into both of us ain't shit. But like
Yup.
I don't care. I don't care if the baby mama don't like me, baby. I done already bought this. So if I gotta give it to him for your kid to get it, it is what it is. I don't care. I wouldn't care if I just snuck and put it on your trunk of your car. I'm that one about it. Like I love the kids. Like I don't think that anybody. I personally don't like that the kids have to deal with the childhood trauma. I wish that they had more resources for the children that go through childhood trauma because there's so many different aspects and branches of childhood trauma: abuse, neglect, just even being placed in a child reckless endangerment type of situation. You know what I mean? So there's trauma everywhere. Like I just wish that there was a way that everybody could, like, all just be on one accord, so it would all move so smoothly. Like I don't like when the parents be beefing. I ain't got time for that. I can't handle no baby mama drama. I don't like it.
I
Well,
am
Don't
they
come
beef.
so
with it.
They
Don't
beef
come.
because, like Jean said, everybody has a trauma. Everybody's dealing with their own little problems, but it's unfortunate that they take it out on the children very bad. My ex-husband is, like I was saying before I got interrupted with my dog, was mad because we didn't work out. So why would you penalize your son for something that you and I didn't work out? You just totally, that boy didn't ask to be here. He didn't ask to be here. And you totally just dumped him. And then here I am doing the best I can to make sure he's mentally okay, because at the end of the day, I really don't want my son to grow up feeling abandonment issues. And the things he's doing now, we're so close that we talk about everything. And when he has a mental, we do this mental check, like how you do the PMS thing, and we would ask each other, how was your mental today? How you feeling? And he would tell me, well, mom, I don't feel, sad. I feel this. So I think a lot of us, and like what Kia was saying, people just, I wish people can get along, girl. It's like, it's so, like, I'm so drained by this negative energy that I'm falling into to the point where I am like done being optimistic and feel like this world, I just, that's how tired I am. That's how tired I am. I just can't.
I definitely get it.
I don't know. I feel like people can't get along though because of the situation, right? So if you're baby mama number six and you're not getting any child support and he's not following through on picking up your kid and he's messing with you and he's doing this and he's doing that and blah blah blah, he's really never doing what he's supposed to be doing. And then you as the partner, I don't care if the man makes $120,000 a year. If he's got six kids, you ain't seeing a fucking dime of that money. You ain't seeing shit. That is all child support money. Then that you have to have relationships with every one of the mothers. You have to have relationships with the kids, their whatevers. Like it becomes a lot. And the problem is a man who's like just spewing sperm everywhere and can't doesn't have the means. He's not Nick Cannon. He does not have the means to care for these children, which makes him impulsive and reckless and emotionally immature and emotionally fucking irresponsible. So it's not about the women. It's about him creating these lives that he's abandoning. And for
Well,
you to say
but,
that's a good man is fucking bonkers, like
but,
it's
but
clown shoes.
hold on,
And
Meiji,
for
Meiji.
women, for you to be
But,
a six baby mama
takes two. Takes
is
two.
clown shoes.
but
And
Nick,
I
Nick,
just
Nick,
said, for you to agree baby mama number six is clown shoes. Like, put on your fucking clown shoes because what in your mind makes you think this is lucky number fucking six? Like, really? Like, you think that? You think your vagina is so special that now after he's already done it 6 times,
But hold on,
that
Meijin.
you're the magical one that's going to give him a different experience? Like,
Gag,
I'm
gag,
disappointed.
gag. Yeah. Use too much. Oh my God. You dead right. You dead right. But at the end of the day, like, it takes two. If he may be a clown, but you laying down with a clown, then it's your own damn fault too. So
That's what I
you
just
got
said. You're a clown too. If
you
you
got
think
it.
you're
Yeah,
lucky number 6,
absolutely. No, I get that. I
a
get that
problem.
completely. But no, like I see these families, like kids sporting functions, and I see the mom, the stepdad, the dad, the stepmom, and everybody getting along lovely. That shit makes my heart so happy. Like, why can't people just get along and be that? Like, why can't people just show up for their kids the way they supposed to show up for their kids? Let your ex be about their life
Because
as
it's
much
too
as
much
they
trauma.
want to. And man, then everybody need to learn how to get their trauma in check before they start
It wasn't.
procreating.
It
Because
wasn't taught that way. They only going by. It's a cycle. From what you see from the beginning, you keep on doing it. That's what's just going on. Unless you change it. That's how it works.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, but I don't know why there's not enough cycle breakers in this world, because there's hella parents in this world. So if you a parent and you not yet a cycle breaker, you need to become one. Plain and
Well,
simple.
hold on.
Sound off. What you was gonna say though? You said hold on. I'm gonna let you hit that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I want to give props to all the good fathers that are out there, because there are very good fathers out there that unfortunately some of these women really, really, really give them a bad rep. I hate that, because I know some of them out here that does that, and it's unfortunate. And I tell them every day, I said, you guys are so lucky to have that man in their kid's life, and you just treat him like he's nothing. And I don't think that's fair. I think that's wrong.
I agree with you, because there are fathers that will do just about anything for their child, and will always show up for their child in any imaginable way. And there's unfortunately ones that don't. But sound off section, ladies. So, any of y'all got some really crazy pressing something you want to say, or anything on any of our topics that we've already spoke about that you just didn't get a chance to get off your chest? Yes, no, come
I just
on
have
No,
now.
one
I
word
feel
to
bad. I
say.
couldn't really contribute a whole lot because I don't know.
But I mean, you do.
You
You've
did.
had
You did
tricky
enough.
situations.
Oh.
You ain't gotta ever feel bad. You contributed plenty. But at this point in time, we got a moment to get anything off our mind, anything off our chest. It ain't got to be about the show. It could be about the old lady that farted in front of you in the grocery store. I don't care what it was,
I
what it
got something
is.
to say.
Go ahead, girl. Let it out. Air it out. Sound off.
Well, all right, sound off. So, story time. This was really, really scary yesterday. So, um, I got a phone call from one of my sisters. She's younger than me. And like, I'm thinking it's gonna be a regular conversation. So then she's like, can you call and check on the kids? So like I'm like, trying to figure out what's going on. Come to find out somebody had well actually it's baby mama drama. Baby mama drama played a part in this. My sister, her baby dad's other baby mom came and had somebody shoot her car. Like
Oh my
crazy.
God.
Okay, she had 3 kids in the car, and like literally, if they did not get out 5 minutes prior to this, like they would have been in the car, and my nephew would have been
Oh,
hit.
okay. I thought you was about to tell me the babies was in the car when this shit went down. I was about to say,
5 minutes
thank
prior
God.
to, 5 minutes prior to, like one bullet went directly through the engine, and then the second one went directly through her car, through his car seat.
See, that's where our topic is deeper than deep. Like, this is the type of craziness that be going on. Like, them children could have really lost their life over some psychotic, crazy, unhealed.
Jealousy. Jealousy.
Yeah,
And it's
that's
literally just
crazy.
because my sister is pregnant.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Hmm.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I hope your sister stay safe till she drop that baby and then go put her hands on somebody.
Baby, at this
Lord,
point, she don't need to put her hands on nobody.
like, oh, I know that ain't even right to say, but Lord forgive me. No, that's
No,
crazy.
like
I
literally when she
I,
first found
I
out.
pray for all them children. I pray for all them children and everybody involved in that entire situation, because nobody
That
should have to go through that.
that situation is where we're talking about now. See, they is so much going on in that situation that she. How many kids she has by this dude?
Um, Two of them and pregnant with the third one now.
Now you already knew from the first two, then you got pregnant again. So
That's
then you're
all.
already putting yourself in a situation. First of all, you're putting your kids. See, people they're not thinking. They're thinking about that person, and they're not even thinking about how much they putting that kids' trauma into there. That's not cool at all. That's not cool at all.
I can't tell you how many phone calls I done got in the middle of the night where I done had to take a 45-minute drive away from my house to somebody's hospital because the girl done popped up at her job wanting to fight, or the girl done popped up in the neighborhood and beating and banging on the door. Like, it's been so much. And for some reason, she can't leave that man alone. And I'm like, I know it ain't got honey on it.
I pray she deal with whatever she gotta deal with from her childhood trauma so that she could stop traumatizing her own children and affecting their future the way that she is right now.
Yep.
These babies need to be safe first and foremost. I don't care who you with. I don't care what you going through. I don't care how bad your baby daddy is. I don't care how bad you think your other
Yep.
baby mama is. Number one priority is your baby's safety. Get it right, ladies. Don't you never put no man, no dick, no money, no nothing above your children's safety. Lord. Woo.
Like, I done got phone calls about gas in the sugar tank, the car being keyed up, the girl done followed her to the mall after she done picked the kids up. I said,
That
listen,
girl.
she has too much spare time on her hands.
No, she's traumatized. She got something going on with her.
And then it's
She's something
crazy because,
going
like,
on with
both
her.
times, listen, this time and the last time my sister was pregnant, the girl was pregnant at the same time. So I guess now that she's not pregnant and my sister is, she's really angry about it. Like, so she's crazy. Like,
This is my
she's
first time
crazy.
seeing Beijing this quiet.
Eh,
Is she
Where's your
like?
clinical
Is everybody
standpoint,
sound so
Meijing?
crazy? The guy who's got the two girls pregnant, both girls who agreed. Like everybody sounds crazy to me. I'm just throwing it out there.
mm.
Like, I told my sister that she was crazy. I'm like,
I
bro,
would be
you're
pretty
crazy.
crazy too if my husband had a baby. I made me crazy. Like when you're with somebody to find out somebody else is pregnant, whether or not you're a delusional side chick that you have a relationship with this man, you're still pregnant by somebody else's fucking man. Like, so who's the
That's
crazy one?
That's the
Like,
reality check. That's why I don't understand why do they do this? Why be in a relationship and have a side person? I don't understand that at all. That I don't understand it. And then get mad at each other because one get pregnant and the other one
because
don't. I
it's
mean,
an
like,
impulse control disorder.
I've seen actually, I know these two chicks that I went to high school with, and they for real like took turns going back and forth with this man, and they each got like 4 or 5 kids, and they're like 6 months to a year apart. Like they was battling back and forth to have babies by this man, and I'm like, he a piece of shit. What
Like
is
a
y'all
rap battle.
doing? Yeah,
And then you know the
like
worst part on his
round
end,
one, round two, I got four. Like no.
look, and then the worst part about it on his end is after you hit 10, yeah, you don't have to pay child support, but then that technically means that you're a piece of shit. That ain't gonna do nothing for none of them anyway. So it's like,
You
what in the world?
any man who bitches about paying child support is a piece of shit. If you a man taking care of your business, most likely you ain't never got to worry about being put on child support. But if you are put on child support, I said most likely, I ain't saying all cases. I said if you a man handling your business, taking care of your child financially. If you a man handling your business, taking care of your child financially, 9 times out of 10, you ain't even got to worry about child support. However, there are other circumstances. In the circumstances in which you are put on child support, you should not be bitching about it, because that's what you need to be doing for your child. And yes, there's some chicks out there that's out buying their nails and getting they shit fresh and whatever they doing with their money. That's on them. But a good chunk of these mothers need that money to help take care of their child. And there's the in between. So I mean, there's a whole scale of that whole money baby mama situation. There's a whole scale to child care, finances, all of that. Number
I
one is always safety.
I
Safety.
think as a mother, oh, it's almost time. Look, oh my God.
Almost like we about to be out, y'all. But yes, motherhood, fatherhood, your number one priority is keep your child safe. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. I thank my co-host. I hope everybody has a great evening. And we will see you next week, Tuesday, 9:30.